Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you to tuning in for our 12th episode, I believe, of VegfestUK Chat. It's a little chat show that we've been running since, lockdown in 2020. So if you're perhaps a university student watching this in 20 years' time, looking back at what the vegan movement was doing in early part of 2021, welcome. And of course, if you're watching in real time, an even warmer welcome. And if you're watching a little bit later on, welcome too. Thanks very much for tuning in, having a little look at what we're up to. VegfestUK Chat, if you're familiar, is about an hour and a half of chat, mainly with this week, this month, our guests. We have, as always, a most incredible lineup of guests. And my partner in crime and very good friend and powerhouse of energy for the vegan movement all the way through lockdown has been, of course, my co-host Karin Ridgers, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Karin. So please do welcome Karin. Karin, thanks for joining me again. Karin, it's great to see you. Here we are a year on. From a historical point of view, quite a drama really, but I think we're emerging. So here we are emerging from hopefully what has been the most horrendous period for a lot of people, but also quite a creative period for a lot of people too, including our good selves. We've come up with this now 12 shows. They've been an absolute pleasure, and it's wonderful to see you again.
Thank you, and good morning, Tim. Good morning, my lovely VegfestUK Chat viewers. I'm buzzing about today's show. I cannot believe we've been doing this on and off for a year now. You think by now we'd get it all right, but last minute, my microphone's not working and all sorts, but that is the joy of live broadcasting. Very exciting. We've got brilliant guests. I've got my breakfast here that I'm going to be sipping throughout the show. And I'm just so miffed because you can't see my fantastic T-shirt. Look at that.
Oh, wicked. Well done. We make vegan happen. Well done, Karen. Well, I think that's
Isn't that cool?
We added it up, didn't we? We had something like 60 years experience of promoting veganism, something like 65 coming on 70 years of vegans. So today we've got 5 guests lined up. We'll come to that in a minute. We've got several waiting in the wings, which is quite exciting. And we have a whole sort of 2 days with the Plant Powered Expo live online, sort of to talk about. There's all sorts of stuff coming up this weekend. So live streams, you can go on the website, vegfest.co.uk/live streams. Have a good look around. There's some presentations, some exhibitors, all sorts of stuff. But before we come to that, we've got some very big news, and that is the launch of our new magazines. Welcome to Force of Vegan issue 1. It's out now, it's online, it's free, and it's available. It's going to be ongoing. It's a kind of new thing that we're doing. We haven't got any more online shows lined up now. We've done 5 since last year, including this one. We're moving into online magazines. Our first issue's out. Karin, you'll be going to be working on the other magazine we're doing too, because not only have we got Force of Vegan out, but we've got Plant Powered Planet coming out in early May. And this is our new life, these 2 fabulous magazines, Force of Vegan and Plant Powered Planet. Have you had a look yet? Have you read Force of Vegan?
Of course, I think it's absolutely stunning. There's interviews in there. It is jam-packed with advice, all to do, of course, with the vegan movement. We've got, our gorgeous guy on the front cover, who we met. I'm trying to think where we met him now, Tim.
Bristol VegFest. When he came over to with Nadia. Wally and Nadia came over to Bristol VegFest 2018, but also came London VegFest 2030. First time Wally came over. Wally's doing just fabulous work with Nadia in the USA. Really, really, critical times for a lot of the whole world, really, in many respects. A real, Force of Vegan. We're honoured to have Wally on the cover and a fabulous article in there. It's a lot of it's grassroots, it's campaigns, ethical veganism. It's quite fun, uplifting. There's some artists in there, the Art Compassion Project. You've got some musicians and comedians in there too. But there's, some really incredible work. Like the Chilies on Wheels article is just really excellent. And there's content from all over the world, actually. So we've got people in Athens and, in Mexico and all sorts of fabulous places. Morocco, our good friend Sir Mohammed in Morocco. And this leads us on to our crowdfunder too, Karen. We've got a crowdfunder running there. So if you're feeling like you might want to go and drop us a little bit of support, you'd be very welcome. We're going to try and keep this whole thing going. There's Plant Powered Planet, you can see on the right. Karen is the editor of Plant Powered Planet. I'm the editor of Force of Vegans, so we're going to be sort of working in tandem. And hopefully, Karen, although we haven't discussed this yet, but I thought I might drop this on you live anyway, but we'll be doing some, launch live shows again. So, as we go through the rest of 2021, there'll be opportunities to welcome some of the guests that we've been working on the magazines with to come and chat about their work. So there's the crowdfunder. Please do have a little visit to our crowdfunder page. And while we're on it, there's a lot of other crowdfunders going on too. Some fabulous vegan crowdfunders going. Vegan Business Tribe have a whole range of vegan crowdfunders going. And Karen, I see you've been on our page, left us a little drop. That was very good of you.
Yeah, I urge everybody watching, share this video, of course, because we've got fantastic guests coming on. At the end of the day, we did not want to let COVID, the situation, destroy VegfestUK. There's an incredible team, all powered up by my super friend who's above me on the screen, Mr. Tim Barford. We couldn't have 12, 13, 14,000 people under one roof. However, we're passionate about the vegan message. We've done this through live streaming. We've done this through lots of different things. And now 2 really exciting magazines. So get involved, support, because the more we do, the more we can promote the vegan message. The more people take notice, the more seeds we plant, the more people can learn and grow with their own veganism. So it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, so there you go. We're looking forward to literally next week. We're going to start on the first issue of Plant Powered Planet together. There's be some planning and discussions and guests and interviews. We've got some cracking ones lined up. But talking of lined up, we have a whole weekend this weekend. Very briefly, if you go to the VegFest website on the live streams page, you can see the whole schedule. Got not only today, with our guests, we've got I mentioned we're going to have a half hour with David from Vegan Business Tribe about the crowdfunders at 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock today, we've got a whole schedule, 4 hours with the plant-based health professionals UK. Really valuable insights. I think 5 talks in all. Specialist areas. Go and have a look on the website. They're on the Facebook page too. This is the event page. Great stuff. And then tomorrow, Sunday, very briefly, we've got a yoga session in the morning, which will be fun. I'm looking forward to that because I've been doing a bit of yoga during live stream, so you might catch me in a sauna or two. And then we've got the V for Life team coming in and doing some cookery demos. Of course, Karen, I know you're a big fan of the V for Life team. We work closely with them. Then at 2 o'clock, there is the Vegan Approach, who are basically a little group of volunteers, a sort of little group that actually works quite on a large scale really these days. They've really blossomed during lockdown, and they've got a whole healthy eating on a budget sort of panel lined up. So that'll be really interesting, especially if you're new to the whole plant-based diet, you're kind of carrying on, perhaps from January even, and looking to, continue with your journey. And then at 4 o'clock, a really interesting Dharma panel, looking at how we're tying up between different religions, Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, with some very, very interesting people. 4 o'clock on Sunday, that's going to be really special. I'm looking forward to that. My thanks to Philip Murphy for putting that one together. So, Karen, whole weekend, Plant Powered Planet, Plant Powered Expo, online. You can see it online on the website, on our Twitter feed. I've been talking for about 15 minutes. You know what? I'm going to pretty much shut up because Karen, not only have you got all of these amazing guests together. But you have got some proper amazing guests who I know are going to want to talk quite a lot. So I'll just shut up and listen, pretty much, except to say that, your first guest, I'm going to be honest, today is a special weekend for me. It's my 50th anniversary of my first football match. At age 7 years old, I went off to see Everton play Panathinaikos in the Agios Nikolaos Stadium in Athens in 1971. And incredible game, European Cup, Champions League, what used to be known as the European Cup, now Champions League. And of course, I was a huge football fan. And of course, there was only one player at the time who was the world's best player. And that was, of course, George Best. And I, like many people of my era, I grew up in absolute awe of that man. And I cannot believe that you have Angie Best as our first guest. And Angie is iconic. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and now all the way through the noughties into, I don't know what you call the last one. What was it? The teenies, I think. But here we are in the 20s for 2021.
Yeah.
Angie Best is nice. I did say I'd shut up, but I wasn't. Angie Best actually got a CBD range out, which is just like, you know, for a man who started UK's first hemp company 30 years ago, to see now this whole tie-up. So there we go. Karin, would you do us the honours? Please introduce a fabulous, iconic, incredible, very famous, and we are just, you know, proper fangirling here, I've got to say.
I can't follow that. I think let's just bring on the most wonderful Angie Best, because there's no way I could follow all what Tim said. Good morning, Angie. It is such a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Babes, how am I supposed to follow that? Thank you, Tim. Bless you.
Oh.
But boy, am I old. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Ooh.
I'm with you, Angie. I remember the 60s, and you know, to have you, because of course, the leading light, you know, this is just like, oh gosh, you must have hung out with some of the most amazing people too.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I have.
this is just a whole history of amazing people. Who's your best pal then? I'm going to jump straight in. I said to Karin I'd shut up, and here I am. Who's your current best pal from those times?
From those times, oh goodness. Well, Cher, of course. But I have a new singer that is my current best pal now. Her name is Linda Pagnini. And she's got there's two of them called Crombie and Pagnini, and they sing, they write, they sing, and they make the music, and it's just sensational. So that's my latest best pal.
That's fantastic. I know Tim's probably got... Look, Tim, I'm not going to stop you. I know.
No, Karin, don't let him, because it'll all be football questions.
No. I've done my football bit. I'm not going to ask anymore. I'm not going to say anything. You know.
Oh.
Tim, I have a question for you. Do you play football?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? I have played football for a long time, and then, like a lot of us, I got a little bit sort of injuries kicked in. I was a goalkeeper, so and I still bear the scars actually, because when I was a kid, we used to play pretty much on concrete. It wasn't quite concrete; it was baked, so you know, Athenian baked stony ground. That's where I learned to play football, and I sort of got the scars still. But what I did learn to do was to referee and to manage. So I did my junior football coaching, and then my referees. And I love refereeing, I've got to say, but I don't anymore. I used to love refereeing. So there you go. Yeah.
Bless you. Well done. All right, Tim. Goodbye.
That's never going to happen, Angie. You did make me laugh. I've gone all red now. Coming on and saying good morning, babes. You know, I know you come from Essex like I do as well. You can never take the Essex out of a lady, can you?
You don't want to, my love.
No. Very proud Essex. Look, you've got a gorgeous background. Talk me through. Are you in your gym?
Am I in? Oh, yes. Yeah. This is my studio. Yeah. It's a bit messy at the moment because we use it for packing up all our CBD stuff as well, because the gym's been shut for the last year.
Of
So
course.
here,
Yeah.
there it is. Look, see, it's a bit messy.
Oh,
But
I
there's
want to
everything
come
else.
over. I
I
miss the
show you.
gym.
Look at this. Look at the colors on that. Now, this is one of the orchids. I rescued all these orchids, right, that were dead. And I brought it back to life, and it's just given me a baby. And look at the colors on that. Isn't that beautiful? I'm just sitting here looking at it and thinking, as we all know, Mother Nature needs no help from us.
That is wonderful. Angie, look, you're a woman's alternative health expert, nutritional therapist, the co-founder of Chill Out Fred. I know you run a fantastic fitness place. You know, we're getting to see it in the background there. You've done some incredible things throughout your life. I still love, well, it wasn't that long ago when you was on Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, I loved that.
You were just
loved that.
Fantastic on there. I love you were dropping all these healthy tips and talking to everybody.
Onto deaf ears, I was.
Oh no! But you do look.
Nobody on Celebrity Big Brother. It went in one ear and out the other. Nobody wanted to know, which was fine. I mean, you know, I can't help it. It's just what I do. Drop health, and so when people ignore me, it's like, okay, that's fine.
You never know, though, Angie. It's interesting because there's this whole thing about planting seeds, and you know the whole way people change is a whole complex issue of which I don't pretend to understand. But what I do know is that, and especially in social media, is that, you know, being in public, it's good to be consistent, and it doesn't really matter if people don't visibly respond, because you never quite know how much something's just planted a little seed or watered a seed that had been planted previously. So I think it's just very, very important to keep being consistent with your message, of course, as I think we all are. A good advertisement for your lifestyle.
Yes, thank you. That's why
important.
I was going to say, that's why I've lasted this long, because I have been planting seeds since I started doing this health thing at the age of 22, and I'm now 68. So, you know, that's a lot of, I've been doing it for a long time. And I think what has happened in this lockdown, which for me is phenomenal, other than the nasty bit, is that people have been made conscious of their health. And they're suddenly going, oh, maybe I should look after myself. Maybe I should think about what I eat. And I, on my Instagram page, have people come to me and ask for help every single day, and not just one a day. It's like 10 a day, because they're now becoming very understanding of the poisons in the prepackaged food, the poisons that are fed to the poor animals, and how they get slaughtered. They're becoming so conscious of that now, and so conscious of their own health, and know that if they want to get through this nasty virus, they have to take care of themselves. And there is no better way to do it than to have an alkaline body. And an alkaline body means non-acidic. The only things that create acid in a system are animal products, alcohol, and sugar. So you take those three out, and you've got one healthy alkaline body.
Have you been living, you know, the best you can then since you were in your early 20s, Angie? Or is it just been being alkaline, or is that something that you've come across more later on, more recently?
I learned about it when I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
And learning about it, you don't, when you're really young, you don't take it too seriously because you're invincible and you don't get sick. But I was living in California, and everybody there, because they appreciate and respect their bodies, the one body that God gave them, they're a lot more health conscious. So I grew up surrounded by very health conscious people, and so it fed me. And so I've been on that path since, well, actually, when I think about it, I've been on that path since I was a little girl. because my dad used to, he had betting offices, and he used to bring home, on a Friday night, carrier bags full of funny looking fruit that his Chinese people that betted in his shop would give him as gifts. Now, my sister and my mother and my dad all looked at it and didn't know what it was, shrugged their shoulders and walked away. I ate every single piece of fruit because I just knew it was good for me. So, it's one of those things you consciously know, and you have to trust your instincts and trust yourself. And I have since from day one. And the exercise was the same thing.
I think that's wonderful, Angie. And I've got to say, we've been friends on Facebook for quite some time. And you know what Facebook's like. Sometimes things pop up, sometimes they don't. But when I've seen your posts, you're very vocal as well about the rights of animals. I know you're passionate about health, but the animals are important as well, aren't they, to you?
I, as a mother, could not take a baby cow away from its mum and kill it just so I can drink her milk. I can't do that. My conscience won't let me. My whole being says, no, we have no right to do that when there are other milks that are just as good and a bloody lot healthier. So yes, of course the animals have rights. We have no dominion over them. We have no right to use and abuse them. Now, I can understand some people saying, well, if you have a cow and you take some of its milk, or if you have your chickens and they make eggs for you in your back garden, okay. But the way we have it set up with these big farms where pigs, these beautiful, intelligent animals, are kept in crates where they can't move, and their babies have no access to their mum, and this intelligent creature who wants to mother her children can't even get to them. I mean, who in their right mind would want to be part of that just so they can have a bacon sandwich? Makes no sense. Or don't get me rattling on because I
want to hear it.
It's very interesting because you go back to the 70s when I remember, although I remember I was a sort of teenager in the 70s, but I remember the vegetarian culture, back 50 years ago, early 70s, being vegetarian was really like being vegan now. It's a really big statement. In fact, actually, even bigger than being vegan now, because then 50 years ago, it was you really were the only veggie in the village. It really was like that. There are very few.
And you were a hippie.
And the people that the forerunners to this whole movement, as it were, I think it's important for people to remember, especially younger vegans, just how much work has been done that's gone back. And it is, an ongoing process to a point where we get to a point where I think we actually understand that all animals are not ours to use. And that's the basis of animal rights. That all animals have a right not to be used by humans. And that message is coming through loud and clear. And I think the original pioneers who went veggie, my great aunt was vegetarian back in 1910. She went vegetarian. Yeah, the whole, it's just family of vegetarians. If you trace back the history, it's just really interesting. Very much tied in with the suffragettes movement too. So 150 years ago, strains of the suffragettes movement coming through with foundations of anti-vivisection movement. And it's just incredible that we've now got to this point where really this understanding that basically all animals have a right not to be used as property. And that has taken such a lot of work to get it to this point now.
Well, because even back in Jesus's time, they ate and they ate animals. So we've got a lot of work to do to convince people that we've moved on from that now. We're not Neanderthals anymore.
Some cultures, of course, have a plant-based diets absolutely written into their history.
And I'll tell you an interesting one. They do. And the Chinese, who are predominantly plant-based, those women don't have menopause because of their because of the diet that they have is so much phytoestrogen based. So menopause, as we know, is very much a Western diet created problem. And I talk about that in my book that's coming up soon. So
talking of your book, have you got a book out, Angie?
No, I haven't got one out yet, but I've got a lifestyle one coming. That's
Is it?
menopause
Okay.
and
All
alkaline.
right.
It's menopause and alkaline based.
Okay.
I think that sounds fantastic. Angie, I want to say, because obviously we've got a jam-packed weekend, jam-packed show. I'd love to do more. We can chat further. I want to know now, why are you passionate about CBD? Tell us about Chill Out Fred. We've only got a matter of minutes. It's absolutely
That's
flying
Tim's
by.
fault. It's Tim's
I know, Tim. Step now. No more questions from Tim. Angie, CBD, why is it important to us?
First of all, hemp is such an amazing product to grow for the planet, and it's all carbon. It's fantastic. It's sensational. It would save the planet if we grew it for everything. But I found out about it when we were allowed to grow hemp again, which just pisses me off royally. I can't begin to tell you. Because they stopped us growing hemp way back in the 60s so that they could grow a more profitable crop called cotton. And so since then, we've not been allowed to grow it. It's been illegal. In 2018, we were allowed to grow it. So in 2019, I find out about CBD. And I'm reading and looking at this, and it is, so I try it. And it is such an amazing natural product given to us by Mother Nature. So I think I've got to tell people about this. So we start our CBD company in lockdown. It started last March. And of course, what's really sad is that 90% of the CBD that's sold out there in the market in Holland and Barrett and what have you is one isolate from China, which does so little. The real thing is such a promising product that's not yet owned by Big Pharma. They've got their fingers in it. They're trying to get to it, but not yet. So when I realized and tried it on people and saw how much it helped with arthritis, fibromyalgia, all sorts of pain, it's an emotional stabilizer. It helps you. You have an endocannabinoid system, just like you've got a immune system, a cardiovascular system, a reproductive system. You have an endocannabinoid system. We're not taught this in school for the very reason because it was illegal. But we have an endocannabinoid system. And when all your systems are functioning fully, then your body works so much better. So it seems to me, if we put the endocannabinoid, the CBD, into our system, and our endocannabinoid system is allowed to flourish, then we may have found the missing link to a lot of these small illnesses that bother so many people.
Absolutely. Well done. I completely agree with that, Angie. Having been a hemp aficionado for a long time now, and I mean, I remember CBD appearing 10 years ago. Some of my colleagues, Powers, using it to treat serious cancers.
Yes.
Some remarkable success. But you're right, the dosage and the manufacturing, so it's quite an issue, quite an area. I'm certainly not an expert myself, but I'm very much aware that there's different strengths and such like, there's different effects. But it is a fascinating area, and the whole cannabis medicine, broadly speaking, is still in its infancy. When I was campaigning for legalized cannabis 40 years ago, we were promoting, a big part was the health benefits of potential, but very untapped.
Yes,
Tim?
Quiet. Tim.
I want to hear Angie. You've got the whole weekend. Angie's got to rush off in a minute. Angie, tell us, and have you got any bottles you can show us?
Oh, yes. Hold on.
We get to see more of her gym now. Doesn't it look lovely? I wish I was over there.
Babes, it is so beautiful here. I can't begin to tell you because I'm on the river. I am looking at the river and the rowers and the swans, and it is just, it's so beautiful.
And
in the summer,
I'm well, Gel.
Let's have a look.
Saying it
out, Fred. Oil, right?
Yeah.
And then we have it now, because this CBD is so good for your internal organs, it's also good for your biggest organ, your skin. So we now have a line of CBD skincare, face, night, body, and therapy oil. So that when you finish playing football, you've got sore knees or you strained your hamstring, you rub the therapy oil on and
Angie, that sounds so wonderful. We want more time, but we're out of time. Will you come back on again and we can go a little bit deeper into the CBD, Angie?
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're not allowed on next time.
Yeah, we're going to have girly time.
Yes.
We're going to have chats without Tim being, a girl fan and passionate about football. No, we could spend all day speaking to you, Angie.
We have to talk about CBD in the menopause. It's so good for the menopause because it's an emotional stabilizer.
Angie, it's fantastic. We absolutely love you to pieces. Thank you. You're an inspiration. You look gorgeous. We wish you all the success with Chill Out, Fred. I know I'm going to be trying it. So thank you for joining us this morning, Angie.
Bye, Kim. Bye.
Bye for now, Angie.
And go and have a Rossi's ice cream for me.
Oh, I will do. They do vegan.
Do they?
Yes. Yeah.
Rossi's now do a vegan?
Yeah.
You've made it, babe. You've made it. Bye. Bye.
Bye, Angie.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh, what an absolute giggle. She is utterly fantastic.
That's really interesting. I mean, it's just very, very interesting to catch up with people who sort of heard of all their life and then bang, get to meet and share a little glimpse into their lives. And but it's very interesting, the whole CBD aspect. So, what's it called? Chill Out, Fred. Where can people go, Karen? Just remind people where they can go to see Angie's CBD range. Is Chill Out Fred is the website?
chilloutfred.com. It's brand new. I can't wait to try it.
And it's in its early days, CBD, still in its early days. There's a lot of research going into it, but there is obviously a lot of potential there and a lot of people using the product. And Angie, thank you. Thank you for coming on and sharing a little glimpse of your...
Oh, wasn't she just fantastic? We need a whole day with all of these wonderful guests. Well, I just want to ask them so much more. They're just amazing. Feel very lucky. Thank you again, Angie. Should we crack on, Tim?
Who's our next guest? We have just sort of 5 guests back to back today, aren't we? We're not really looking at stuff in between like we have done in the past. We're going straight into guests. I know who our next guest is, actually, so bit of a loaded question to ask you, but please do have the honours of introducing who I know is a really good friend of yours now, has become more than just a guest. Is suddenly really become a good friend, and of course, a lot of people wearing these clothes too. We're seeing all sorts.
Yes, I'm gonna put mine up. I brought mine up, but I might be too hot to put it on. My jacket that I've got.
Brand, Vegan Happy brand has been appearing on a number of vegan happy people. Yourself included, Victoria. I know I'm next, but I haven't yet selected my piece, which is poor and slack on my part. But there we go. That's in part because we've been busy actually looking at our magazines and getting those magazines out. It's been a big shift, I have to say. But Karen, please do introduce our next guest.
Well, you know what, Tim? I've got to say, you and I go back forever, and some people you just really click with. And when I got a phone call from Laurie Delahunty, I just thought there's something really special about this lady. We just had an instant connection. And then I get to work with her, which is wonderful. She is an absolute inspiration. She's had an incredible journey. Being vegan has had the biggest impact on her life. She set up her brand, veganhappyclothing.co.uk. She is the founder. She's one of the most inspirational, loveliest ladies that I've had the pleasure of getting to know and become friends with and getting to work with. And I just can't wait to bring her onto the screen so we can all get to see incredible Laurie from Vegan Happy Clothing. Are you there, Laurie?
Hi.
Oh, you beat me to it. I thought it's a bit hot to wear this in my office.
I had to get one because I had beanie NG with Angie. So one.
Oh, it's lovely. I absolutely adore this hat. It looks a bit, because I'm in my office.
It really fits you. Really
It's
good.
so cute.
Hello,
I love
Laurie. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Well done. Congratulations on your label. It's
Thank you.
everybody's wearing it. Everyone's talking about your label.
Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm gonna take that off. It's really hot in my office with my lights on. But I just showed you. I don't know if you saw, because I was going to put my jacket on, and I've got the lovely t-shirts, and it's not very nice just sort of hanging it up like this. Vegan Happy. I want to find out about you. We're going to talk about Laurie. We're going to find out about the brand. But I've got to say, I put that jacket on and it is so toasty and lovely and great quality, because I hate being cold. I absolutely hate being cold. And I've got a coat that I've had probably longer than my son. And I know. And that keeps me warmer, but it's very light as well.
Yeah, so I think that's the snowbird, isn't it? And it's our most popular thing in winter, because people can go like hiking with it, but it just rolls up if you get too hot. So it seems to cover everything. Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, and they're full of recycled plastic as well, so they're not, what's they've still got an element of not 100% organic in there, but it is recycled, and the footprints, there's zero carbon footprint on them, and it's a really good garment. Yeah, it's a really good garment.
Well, Laurie, let's find out about you and your life, because you've had quite an extraordinary journey, and then maybe we can find out more about you, and then come on to the clothes as well, if that's all right. So, first of all, you had your turning point. How many years ago was it that you had your light bulb moment and went vegan?
Just over 3. Yeah. 3. I'd been out with my husband, so I which we might come on to, is that I don't drink, so I like getting everyone around me plasters. I'm a great taxi driver. So we'd been out and we thought, we'll just go and have another one next door at our local pub, not enough for the sober one. And our dog got a stick stuck in its mouth, and it was looked like it disjointed its jaw. So 1 o'clock in the morning, we're at the vet's paying loads of money, thinking that our dog's, seriously injured. And it wasn't, but, we're both in tears, and we're both worried, parted with a lot of money, came home, totally relieved, and took chicken out the freezer. And it was an instant thing. It was an instant thing. And I was like, oh my God, I've gone vegan. And it was like someone was talking to me. And it was like someone was talking to me saying, you're now vegan. And I was like, oh, that was really weird. Someone actually spoke to me. And then I woke up in the morning and I said to my husband, I said, I've gone vegan. And he was like, you've just woken up. What are you talking about? But he knows that when I say something, I do it. So he's like, oh, right, okay. So I did a bit of Googling, and I messaged some friends on Facebook, and I said, look, I've gone vegan. What do I do? Sort of thing, I don't know what I'm going to eat. My food used to consist of a big salad and a bit of chicken, or a big salad and a bit of, steak. I was like, what am I going to eat? I don't even like vegetables. I'm literally, I don't know what to do. And they said, watch What the Health and start looking at, cookery books, because you won't believe what you can do. So that night, my husband watched What the Health, and within 5 minutes, he was vegan. So we're like, okay. And then that was when this amazing journey started of learning to cook different stuff. And I can honestly say, I wasn't really a fan of food. I was like, food's fuel, it's what my body needs. But now, oh my God, like the recipes I love trying, vegan food, or going vegan opened up a whole world that I hadn't even thought about. This is even without even looking at all the animals, that completely changes the way you think and everything. But as a food thing, as a fueling my body, I had no idea. I was eating things just because. Whereas now I look at everything for what it's going to do for me, what it's going to do for my soul, for my body, and everything. And yeah, I love cooking, love eating food. Just completely opened another world out. It's amazing.
I love that, because I love your energy. I love the fact that you say, once you say something, you do something, and that's why I think you and I are very alike. You have to get on. You're passionate about this, and I love the fact that it's been 3 years. I find it quite interesting because, back in the day when I went vegan nearly 25 years ago, you went vegetarian first. Everybody made that journey. But for you, Laurie, you just woke up and thought, I've got to be vegan. And you didn't even know what to do.
No. And the really weird thing is, years and years and years ago, my father used to live in the Gulf, and I hit the Gulf at Ramadan time, which was not a good time. Because there's a lot of slaughter, like public slaughter, isn't there? And I came back from there, and I actually went vegan for vegetarian for quite a long time. And my mum's sort of like way, I hate to label her now, but her way of sort of like getting me out of that habit was to give me a bacon sandwich, which I started eating without even realising what I was doing. And then I thought, I've eaten bacon now, I'll stop that. When the seeds were probably there a long time before. If I just followed my convictions, then I'd have got to that point a lot quicker, I think. I'm annoyed at myself.
Oh, well done, because you're there now. But not only are you there now, you are a massive advocate for veganism. You've been in national newspapers. You were in the PETA campaign as well.
The what?
You were in the PETA campaign, one of the finalists for the most beautiful in the UK. So you really become very active, and we've got some lovely slides up here. So talk us through, Laurie, why did you decide to set up Vegan Happy, and how did you come of the name Vegan Happy as well?
So when I went vegan, I read this thing that said, if you actually wear something that's got a vegan message on it, you're more likely to spark that conversation. And one of the things that's thrown at vegans is, a vegan's coming because they'll tell you before they get there and stuff. But it's sort of like our job, isn't it? It's our job that we have to try and spark that conversation. And Tim said something really interesting earlier. Well, he always says things interesting, but he said something earlier about, you never quite know how long it's going to take someone, planting a seed, and, that seed might help that seed, or it might be instant. So our thing is when I went vegan, everything I could find sort of, and this is not slamming those brands, because I think that they are all amazing. We've all got like our slot, and they all do, their thing in their area. But they were all like big slogans, like slamming meat eaters that I could find, and that wasn't how I felt. I felt just like this rush of love had come in, and I sort of like wanted to like plant seeds without dropping bombs, and so that's where it came in. And we didn't really realise, but it's actually monochrome as well, which is really subtle. My husband designed the logo overnight, and I didn't even change it. He designed it, and I've actually got a marketing agency as well, and I'm really, really picky. And normally he's so used to like me changing things, and I didn't. It was just perfect. So it's subtle, it's stylish, and it was designed so that you could spark a conversation, but just look really approachable. So like we get customers of ours get stopped a lot in supermarkets. I get asked for recipe advice in a supermarket. It's mental. Like, I'm making a Russian salad, it was the other day. Which olive oil should I put on it? I'm like, well, I don't actually. No, I know you're not, but you're vegan. So like, what brings out the flavours of vegetables best? Like,
I love it.
Amazing. So I think it's just like Tim's saying, planting the seed that might like help a little seed that has been planted before. So that's sort of like where we come at it from. Like, we come at it from, the gentle, like planting the seed aspect, In fact, our slogan is spreading the vegan message, one subtle logo at a time. And that's sort of like, yeah, where we're at, where we're sort of like soft and gentle, start a conversation. You know, if someone wants to talk to us, then we'll go on for hours. But like, just like soft and gentle is where we come at it from, yeah.
I love this. Yeah, and I love the range. I know the beanies absolutely fly because everybody wants to take a beanie, a hat with a, you know, a photo with their beanie and their lovely logo, and you know, proudly and subtly say, you know, I'm a proud vegan. I'm a happy vegan, which is wonderful. I just adore this. The shorts, and you know, I mean, look at this lovely lady. I just adore that colour as well.
Me when I was 20.
I wish it was me.
I wish it was me when I was 20. Yes, so all our stuff is like, so I'm 50, like Angie Best, she said she was 68. Oh my goodness, what an example of how healthy and vibrant veganism is. You know, you get another lease of life. You just do. I you know, someone said to me recently, I've gone vegan 2 days ago, but I've got all this crazy energy and I'm probably imagining it. I'm like, you're not imagining it. You know, like you get all this flash of energy and positivity and all that stuff. So I'm 56 now, so hold the age banner up. But I wanted to find clothes that I could wear, but an 80-year-old could wear and a 16-year-old could wear. So our range is designed with that in mind, and male and female and kids. So it's not really garish designs. It's quite subtle again, and it's designed so that there's Jasmine. And on the right, that girl is a girl called Lauren, and she's actually one of our customers. So we're trying to we get a lot of like customers sending us pictures. We're trying to use a lot more of our customers in our shots now. So that's Lauren, who I'd like to say has got a cat called Monkey, and the cat that was in the picture was a cat called Banana. So I'm loving all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, and Jasmine is just incredible, and again embodies what. And going back to what you were saying about the happy thing, veganism makes me happy. You know, it was like what it embodied for me. It instantly made me happy. So that's sort of like why we wanted to call it, you know, Vegan Happy, because it just made us so happy to finally get that light bulb moment and to go on this, like, I can only describe it as like another road, like a whole journey of excitement, really, like discovery and excitement. And that's how I genuinely feel excited about everything, you know, in front of us now. But yeah.
Laurie, that's so inspirational. I absolutely love that. We just saw Jasmine Harmon, who's a great friend of VegFest and has come to VegFest, wonderful TV star, much more. She's a very passionate vegan. And, you know, she adores the brand. You know, she loves the clothes. And I think it's lovely to see Jasmine with her youngster. And obviously you've got fitness range, you've got the jackets, you've got the hats. You know, what's next then? What do you think is next for Vegan Happy?
So we've got, so what people don't actually know is Vegan Happy is really small. I think it's like perceived as being bigger than it is. So it's actually really small. So I'm very hands-on. So the next step is we've got 2 new people starting, which is going to be amazing. So we want to connect more with our customers, basically. You know, we want to do a lot more, like, you know, we just want our models in our clothes. We don't really want to have model shots, which we've had to use till now because of a cost thing. But we want real people, you know, we're all about connecting with real people. So the next step is we're going to have, or we've already started it, you know, have real people in our clothes, every age range, every gender. We've got some exciting collaborations going on with some like quite edgy people. So like, you know, like some streetwear, like lines sort of thing, really. But I think for me, I'd really like to be in America as well, because we were in America, selling quite a lot to America. But with all the postage rates, it's just made it prohibitive for people to buy. So I'd like to find a way that we could do Vegan Happy in America, because we've got amazing customers over there. It's just not cost okay right now to do that. So yeah, I'd like to, you know, do the America thing again, but keep it real. I think for Vegan Happy, it's keeping it real, you know, making us accessible, keeping our prices affordable, which is a big problem right now. We got notice yesterday that all the prices are going up from our suppliers, you know, and the big problem we've had, which is thank you to all our customers for your patience sometimes, is getting stuff in because it's stuck in ports. It's brands can't afford to bring things in. They're trying to find the money to be able to bring things in, you know, and this is not just from, you know, the Far East, this is from Europe, you know, there's stuff getting stuck just to get stuck sake, you know, just to prove a point. So, you know, we're having lots of issues. Our customers have been fantastic at understanding. So trying to keep our costs down is going to be the next thing. Is trying to keep our costs down to keep it affordable so that we can still do what we do, and which is making like vegan fashion and timeless pieces accessible, affordable. For example, at Christmas, we still now we have a bit like in Europe when you have the menu de dia and you have your affordable range. We always have stuff that is always on special, because we want people on low incomes or even just want to buy a present or try veganism to be able to buy something. So we always have things that are on special. So we've got like these beanies, I think are £10. And we have 3 beanies at the moment that are £10. And then we're going to have a hoodie next that is like a lower cost, and t-shirts are. So at Christmas, when people are buying one beanie at £10, that's just as important as if someone's buying 500 quid, and they get exactly the same service. So for us, it's really important that we keep it affordable and accessible. Yeah, that's our thing.
Laurie, you're so passionate about it, and I know this means so much to you. It really is your world. And I know that you handwrite a personal note to everybody that orders. You know, they deal with you directly. You give them incredible support. You picked out, I think, wasn't it your 1000th customer, and you gave them tons of stuff for free. You know, you're just forever doing really lovely things and giving so much support and love. And I know Vegan Happy is getting out there more and more, and more people are knowing about the brand. But I just, from when we first spoke, I really feel like we're on the edge of something really big. That's how I've always felt about the brand, and I feel very lucky to be working with you as well.
I mean, I remember like I emailed Karin and I said I'd seen her at VegFest. I'd seen you, Tim, and I'd seen Karin, and then I saw something, and I actually emailed Karin and I said, look, I really want you. I can't afford you. I'm only a little brand, but you're the best. And where I want to be, I want to work with the best. And that's exactly what we said, wasn't it? I said, I know I can't afford you, but you know, I'd seen you, Tim, and I'd been to VegFest, and I'd seen the work you were doing, and I'd seen Karin on stage presenting it, and I just thought, this is where I want to be. You know, this is where I need to be. I need to be more visible. And I thought I can, and I can't afford her, but she's amazing. She's amazing. Really, and obviously, like a big highlight for us, in probably our biggest highlight ever, was coming second in the VegFest Awards. You know, that was a total surprise for us. But coming second was like, that has been the best thing that's ever happened to us so far. Followed by probably Jasmine in our clothes. I mean, I'm going to send Angie Best a beanie next, and if she wears it, then I'm made up. But coming second in the VegFest Awards was our biggest coup so far. That was just like amazing, and I can't believe we got nominated. And thank you, Tim, for all your support with that. But literally, that's been our thing so far. We're so proud about. Yeah.
Oh, Laurie, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's by people, isn't it? So that's the most
Yeah. Well, again, we could talk to you all day, but we've got a jam-packed weekend. We've got guests waiting. Laurie, just as a recap, because it's going down here along as we speak, and we've put links into Vegan Happy as well. But you're on all the socials, aren't you? People can follow you on Instagram and find out more. One quickie, what's your favourite item from the range?
Oh, snowbird jacket that you've got.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, the lightweight snowbird jacket is by far like the best thing. I've got one that's 3.5 years old, and it's really perfect.
It's wonderful. And we've got to get Tim that way. We've got to get Tim wearing something. You've got to have something. Oh.
And what's the one more thing? Because it's obviously like my first live with VegFest, if anyone does want to go online, if they use code 15, that will get you 15% off this weekend.
Do you want to say that again, Laurie? Because we had a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, so this weekend, in celebration of my first live with VegFest, if they go to the website and they do want to shop, they don't have to shop this weekend. They can use the code anytime. Use code extra1515 and they'll get 15% off.
Oh, Laurie, you're amazing. Love you to pieces. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye. Oh, I absolutely love Laurie Delahunty, Vegan Happy Clothing. She's an inspiration. She is so passionate about her brand. We only touched on it a little bit, but being vegan has had the biggest impact on her life. She's really changed her life around. If you Google Laurie Delahunty, you'll see her and her story in a lot of big newspapers that were, very interested. And I'm really thankful that she joined us today.
It's really interesting, Karin. It's very, very interesting little chat. What stood out for me is that Laurie and her husband, they went vegan 3 years ago. Laurie mentioned, she's 56, so it's like in her early 50s, which is obviously a long time, as an adult. And then bang, there's a little voice in her head. She made a connection. She went vegan. And it's completely changed her life, but not only her life, but also quite a lot of other people's. And that's very interesting. But I think it underlines how important it is to be kind and supportive and just try and keep encouraging. It's very difficult. Very difficult to apply what are essentially, moral issues of justice, issues of trying to end oppression and exploitation. I mean, these are big, heavy words, heavy subjects, they're heavy concepts, they're very real, they're ongoing, they're in front of us. We're very, very limited in what we can do to do anything about it. The ability to conjure up a kind of happy vibe, a positive vibe, is a challenge. It's been an ongoing challenge as long as I remember, and to be happy without losing the principles of justice, without ignoring the dark side, but being able to focus on the positive side of the whole vegan areas is a very I think essential, because I think it does really help. I remember talking to Ronnie Lee before Christmas about perhaps what went wrong. Ronnie Lee, the founder of the Animal Liberation Front, who's 70 now. One of the things Ronnie said is, we really didn't care if people liked us or not. It really wasn't an issue. We didn't care if people liked us. And of course, there's some elements, I understand that, but there's also some important principles that if we want to share this movement, we have to make it attractive. We do have to care what the optics are. And vegan happy is almost is for some people a contradiction, but for a lot of other people, I think it's a very clear way that we must understand the principles of justice of veganism, but still apply the very positive aspects, especially with something like clothing too, because clothing often gets left off the script. It's very much veganism is seen as a diet, portrayed as a diet, but it's obviously about all animals. It's more about an underlying principles of justice for all animals, which are then reflected by a set of lifestyle choices. So veganism, in a way, is a set of lifestyle choices that reflects an animal rights position. Animals have a right not to be used, and that's all animals. So it's a great little interview. Thank you, Karin, for bringing on Laurie. Laurie, thank you for joining us. And I'm going to pick a bit of clothing for the.
You have to.
Fresh, Kate. Don't it look so fresh too? And I do love. I've got to be honest. I'm more of a little subtle logo than a big, So it's
I'm just don't buy one again.
No. That's a little bit. I was trying to relate to my pals, like all that Wham stuff. The Choose Life, all that stuff in the 80s. Of course, you'll remember all that, but. My pals were born in the 90s, so I don't really remember all that stuff. It's like, what? Who? What?
Choose Life.
Those huge great t-shirts. It's about time we had a comeback for them. But no, I love the subtle logo. The Vegan Happy logo is a lovely return. There's some lovely pastel spring colours and ranges, and a very inspirational story there. Very inspirational.
It is. It's fantastic. But what we didn't show, I mean, when you go and have a look at the website, you know, there's clothes you can wear in the gym. There's also very smart suit jackets, so you can wear that to work. You know, I've never seen a brand do that. And I think, you know, I'm wearing sort of this, and I would wear it on my radio show and now, but I wouldn't probably feel that comfortable wearing it to the shops. I'd wear it at VegFest, but with Vegan Happy, I wear it everywhere. But it's got to be what works for you. Some people like the big in your face, and I think it just depends on where you are.
That's the beauty of choice, and you get plenty of choice, that's for sure. It's a wonderful thing to see, so much vegan clothing available now. So, Karin, we've been chatting an hour. We've only managed to fit in 2 of your guests so far. I'm sure that your other 3 guests are all slightly wondering what's happening. So we should press on and try to be perhaps a little bit more, you know, less chatty. Is that possible?
Yes,
it's a chat show. It's Saturday morning. What do we care? Let's chat. Who's our next guest? Shall we chat? I know who our next guest is. And honestly, Karin, we are thrilled. I mean, talk about going back to the sort of old school, original 60s, 70s. I mean, the 70s, when I was, you know, veggie back in the 70s. Well, actually, 1980, so I'm pretty much my base. But even then, 1980, you know, the only cookbooks around at those times, there was only 1 or 2 sort of, you know, plant-based cookbooks. And the most famous, of course, by a very, very famous author who has, I believe, produced at least 70 plant-based cookbooks and is now fully vegan, got a number of vegan cookbooks out and about, but overall is a real, absolutely fascinating character, but quite legendary too. So not only have we had this iconic Angie Best from the 60s and 70s, but we're now joined by the also equally iconic Rose Elliott.
We are. Good morning, Rose. Let's just bring up. Welcome. Oh, lovely to see you, Rose. Thank you for joining us. I've got to say, Rose Elliott, MBE, you're a patron of lots of brilliant charities, including our great friends Vegetarian for Life, V for Life. You are their patron. You and I can't remember when we first met. Was it when we filmed in London? Do you remember?
I was trying to remember when we did meet. I think it may have been. It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was about 20 years ago. I know. And you and I, we just hit it off. I thought, oh my God, Rose Elliott. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She's such an icon. And then we were at the Vegetarian Society presenting awards to the winners. So I've got a lovely photo of you and I should have put it on our chat. And but yeah, sort of back in the day. But it's such a pleasure. And I think when we spoke earlier, Rose, I did say to you, and I know this is probably a bit naughty, Tim, but I kept the impression from a lot of people that they're vegan now, they're in their 20s, and they kind of feel that they invented it, and it really gets on my nerves because I know we owe so much to the inspirations back in the day, you know, and, you know, you've written an incredible amount. You were passionate, you know, you still are, giving demonstrations, you know, way back in the day. Did people think then, oh, Rose Elliott, you know, she's quite, I don't know, quite different. She's quite quirky, or
Yes, I think I've always been quirky. They've always been.
You and I both. But did they kind of think more, wow, Rose Elliott, she's ahead of her time?
I think it was a mixture. I think some people thought that, and some people thought, you know, I was weird. I'm used to that though. It started when I was at school because my sister and I were the only vegetarians in the school, at primary school. And we had to sit at a special table and they couldn't make food for us. We had to have our sandwiches. And, you know, I'm really quite used to being weird. I didn't like it then, but I actually quite like it now. I
Me
enjoy it.
too. Wouldn't it be boring to be like other people, Rose?
Absolutely. but I'm so keen. Other people have become vegetarian, and now so many are going vegan. So that's I like them to join me in that.
Oh, Rose, that's wonderful. Let's take you back. I mean, your first book was called Simply Delicious.
That's
Wasn't
correct.
it?
Yeah.
I mean, what inspired you? It was a bestseller, an unexpected bestseller when you were 20.
Yes.
You know, that was at a time where I don't even know if you had labelling on food then for what the ingredients.
I don't think you did. I mean, it was very basic. You couldn't really get any sort of ready-made vegetarian food or anything like that. And I mean, it was very straightforward, natural cooking. I did like vegetables, lentils, nuts, and things like that. So it simply didn't really need labeling in that way. But the thing also, it started really, as I say, I was vegetarian, and at school no one knew what that was. Then I started cooking in the retreat centre, which my family ran. It was a spiritual retreat centre where people came to learn meditation. And we gave them vegetarian food because all my family had become vegetarian by then. We were growing, I was growing up in a vegetarian family. And the whole ethos of the centre where I was cooking was no cruelty to animals and, being humane and all that. And obviously vegetarianism fitted in. Most of the people I cooked for had never eaten vegetarian food before in their lives. So it was quite a challenge to produce food that they would enjoy. And really out of that, Simply Delicious, my first book was born, which I wrote when I was 19, I think, when I started writing that. And then it was just a huge surprise when it took off, and it was reviewed all over the place. The Times, Woman's Hour, Radio 4, it was everywhere. And I sent out 4 copies for review very timidly, including to the local paper too, and they all gave the fantastic reviews, and my career sort of started then.
I think that's wonderful, Rose. And I think, if we think now, we might have pizza for dinner, we might have pasta, we might have, I don't know, Indian food or Chinese food. But, are we talking 40 years ago, 50 years ago? Is it around that time?
God, I suppose we are. It came out in 1967, Simply Delicious. And that was a time when I was really, building up my career. I wasn't even aware I was starting a career at that point. I was just cooking for the retreat centre, which my parents ran. The cook left suddenly, no one to cook for the people who came. So, and I wanted to leave school. So I said, oh, well, I'll do the cooking. I think they were crazy to let me, really. I wouldn't have let my daughters. I think I'd have said, no, you must go on and do your A-levels and all the rest of it. But I think they were just so relieved to have someone who would do it. But it really started my career. It was extraordinary.
So what were people typically eating around that time? And was your creations, your food, so shockingly different?
Oh, gosh, I've got Simply Delicious here, so maybe I'll have to refresh my memory. We had nut roast then. There was lentils. I used lentil croquettes. What else have I got in here? I did use quite a bit of cheese in those days because there weren't other things to replace it, really. So it was definitely vegetarian rather than vegan, although obviously some of the recipes were vegan. I didn't focus on that in those days. I just wanted to get people off their meat and fish and onto, vegetarian food. I've got a vegetable curry here. That's quite trendy. Green pea cutlets, cheese and egg pie, cashew nut fritters, macaroni or spaghetti with tomato sauce. Even pasta in those days was quite unusual. People weren't eating a lot of pasta, and so it goes on.
I love that. Rose, show me your book, and then I'm going to show you my book that I've got here.
How can I show you? I'll put it like that.
That's it. Oh.
You've got it too. Oh, it's catching the light. Oh, now that one. Yes, that's fast forward a few years for that one.
I mean, look at how do you get the inspiration? I just like chuck stuff in a saucepan and hope.
I do that a bit, but I don't know. I just get ideas. I've got this one. Look, this is my latest one. Can I show you this one?
Yeah.
Vegan one. Whoops. Can you see it? There we are. I don't know. I think I dream about recipes and dishes, and I don't like making the same thing twice. So there's lots of scope for new recipes.
I think that's wonderful. Rose, we've got so much to talk about. 70 cookbooks. I mean, at times I've said, oh, you're the Delia Smith of vegetarian and vegan cookery, but I feel that's doing you a bit of a disservice, really.
Oh.
You're so fabulous in your own right, but I suppose everybody knows the name Delia Smith. Is that what you have focused on throughout the years? I wonder if we've got time to touch base on the astrology side of your career as well. But 70 recipe books. How do you get the inspiration and the ideas?
I can't cook the same thing twice, honestly. I just make things the whole time. It's quite a discipline for me when I'm actually writing a cookery book to test the recipes. I get the idea, I make them, scribble down what I've done, and then of course I have to test them to make sure they all work. One of the things people do say about my recipes is that they always work. I hope that's true. It's a nice thing to hear, but I do work hard to make that true.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm inspired by color. I'm inspired by flavor, texture, and sometimes I create things for a specific reason. Like, for instance, I've done a slimming book for people who were keen on obviously losing weight. I've done things specifically for children, things for pregnant mothers. I've tried to cater for everybody, so no one can say I can't do the vegetarian or vegan diet because I'm anything. They just can do it. There's something for everybody there.
That's wonderful. Rose, what are you focusing on now then, the next stage? Will there be more cookery books? What's the plan?
Well, I can't get away from cookery, actually. I was going to have quite a pause because the last book I did was this big book and it was quite tiring and so on. But I've actually started getting ideas for another vegan cookbook. As we speak, ideas are floating around my head and I'm writing them down. Whether it will get published, I don't know. My agent has now got the idea and she's finding a publisher. So it's all about really fast vegan food.
Yeah.
Simple, fast, not many ingredients. So everybody can do it.
Rose, do you feel like your journey, you're passionate about food and healthy living? Are you equally as passionate about the animal side of things?
I do it because I'm passionate about the animal side of things. I started our whole family on the vegetarian way of life when I was about 5, and my parents were still eating a little fish. They've gone mainly vegetarian, actually, but they had fish sometimes and chicken sometimes, actually. And one evening, my mother was preparing fish for supper, and she was cutting the heads off herrings. And I was so shocked. I hadn't realized that what I must have eaten before was a fish. Anyway, I was even more worried because I said, has that been killed especially for me to eat, Mummy? And she was very honest with me and she said, yes, it has. And I said, well, I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it. I won't eat it. And they went on eating fish themselves for a little while. But I made such a fuss about it every time that she was having it to eat. It wasn't that often. They didn't have it that often that they stopped. And I never ate the fish that night. And I never ate it again. And then the whole family became vegetarian.
I think, you hear that quite a lot, that it's, the kids actually help convert their parents and the kids realise what it is. They're not conditioned in the way that an adult is to this is just what we eat. But
yes,
I'm wondering, what did anyone inspire you? Or you made the connection as a young girl, that's an animal, I don't want to have the animal. And you just knew this for yourself, didn't you?
I did, but I think my parents were definitely sympathetic towards that. They were very spiritual parents, and they were running a retreat centre for people to learn to meditate and learn about spirituality. So, they were quite receptive. I think they hadn't really completely thought through the meat thing. As I say, they were only having flesh occasionally, and it was fish, I think. They just got right down to fish, and it happened to be that night. It wasn't a very common occurrence. So I had very fertile soil to sow my seeds on, as it were, and it just went from there. I do remember also trying to be vegan when I was about 10 or 11. And I got some vegan leaflets from the Vegetarian Society, actually, or maybe the Vegan Society. And I remember one occasion when I got my younger sister, she's 2 years younger than me, and we were trying to make soya milk from soya beans. Can you imagine? You couldn't buy soya milk in those days. And we did manage it. And we had every saucepan in the kitchen was dirty. Everything was piled sky high, all the bowls. My little sister was plodding on with the washing up. So it was all happening very early in my life, really.
Oh, Rose, back in the day, I mean, we're very lucky to have this man that for once has been quite quiet, Mr. Big, organising the most fabulous, biggest vegan festivals in Europe. But back in the day, were there any such things? Did anyone put on events or festivals to celebrate, this inspirational way of living?
I don't remember any. If they did, I wasn't invited. I don't know about it. No, only joking.
Yeah.
What did you say? Sorry.
I was just going to say, so who has inspired you over the years?
Cookery-wise, really, I've sort of gone a bit along my own track in many ways. I've done demonstrations for the Vegetarian Society, so I suppose that society inspired me as well. And I've done things for the Guardian. My husband just said Guardian at me. I was a columnist for the Guardian for a while for vegetarian, not vegan. I've been inspired mainly by reading health things and also just ideas for recipes have just come into my head. I see an ingredient and I think, yes, I must try such and such, and I do, and then people either like it or they don't like it. But since I've become quite well known for writing my cookery books, there's usually been a book that a publisher has wanted me to write. So I sort of have gone from one book to another and started just inventing things, really.
That's amazing. Rose, I mean, I know you were awarded your MBE. I don't suppose it's anywhere and you can show us?
Yeah, it happens to be here on can I hold it up?
There you go. And that's for all your incredible work throughout for vegetarianism and for veganism over the years.
Yes, it was listed as for services to vegetarian cookery.
That's amazing.
And the Queen said to me, sorry, I mustn't make fun of her. She was lovely. She said to me, vegetarian cookery, was it? And I said, yes, Mom, you can do very delicious food with vegetarian food ingredients. Oh, can you? She said. And then she shook my hand very firmly, which is what she does. She shakes your hand firmly and slightly pushes you away, so you know it's time to stop chatting.
Oh.
It was a lovely event. I was so honoured, really, to do that. It was, and honoured for vegetarianism itself. It's lovely to get recognised as a way of eating and a way of life, really.
Rose, that's wonderful. I want to talk to you all day, like all of our guests. Just one thing in a nutshell. What would you say to inspire our viewer, or not to inspire, maybe to sort of tell them that, the message was being spread even back in the day? What would you say?
I think deep down, many people have always felt a sense of compassion towards animals. And I just think if people can tune into that inner feeling of love towards animals, which most people have got, although they don't always understand how to express it, then carry that forward into your life by not eating them and hopefully not taking their products, hopefully going vegan.
Rose, that's amazing. I hope you might join us again.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure. I would love to. I've accepted already.
You're an inspiration. Thank you, Rose. Really, really appreciate your support. Thank you.
So lovely. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Oh, I could talk all day to our fantastic guests. I feel very, very lucky. I was going to show her my book. Eva Batt as well, but I didn't get a chance. So I think this book is from the 50s. I'm not sure, but wonderful Rose Elliott, patron to V for Life, who are very good friends of VegFest, an inspiration, over 70 cookbooks, and spreading the word when really, before social media, before anybody else was around sort of spreading the word. She didn't know anybody else, but she was just passionate and knew it was her calling. So thank you, Rose. What a lovely lady. And I think we might just jump straight into our next wonderful guest, Tim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'm really hoping that we have who is just going to magically appear on the screen. Good morning, Bettina. Lovely to see you.
Good morning, Karin. Good morning, Tim. Thank you so much for having me on.
I know you are super busy, so it's lovely of you to take time to come and hang out with us on VegFest, Bettina. What are you going to be doing next? Have you got a hectic day lined up?
Yes. No. I have an appointment that I have to get to at 12:15. That's the rush today.
Well, it's so lovely of you taking time out. You're such an inspiration. I've been loving what I've seen on your Instagram and your website. Veganism has had quite a big impact on your life for health reasons as well. But I thought it was quite interesting when I was reading about, a Norwegian father, mother, Bulgarian / Danish. You were born in Denmark. You've lived in East Africa, Tanzania. I mean, this is an incredible journey. Was you vegan at that time, or have you learned lots from these different countries to bring you to the point you are at now?
No, I was definitely not vegan or involved in veganism or the wellness industry then. I guess my heritage and my mixed heritage and the fact that I've grown up in different places, like you said, East Africa, Sweden, I've lived in various different countries. It sort of enabled me to use those experiences and translate them into flavors and into my food. So because I'm not a traditionally trained chef, I'm self-taught. And when I got into the wellness industry, I sort of taught myself how to cook plant-based or vegan. And I guess I don't follow the rules like other traditional chefs do. So I experiment with a mishmash of flavors and combinations that might sound or seem a little bit odd, but work from a flavor perspective. So I draw lots of inspiration from places that I travel to or places where I run health retreats, which is how I started in the first place. And also from my two grandmothers. So my Norwegian grandmother, who was very green-fingered and a fantastic cook, and my Bulgarian grandmother, who also equally was an amazing cook. So lots of inspiration to draw from.
Really interesting. I want to know about what was your turning point to go vegan, Bettina?
So for me, it was the other way around. I know for a lot of people in my position, they sort of go vegan and then that's the turning point. For me, it had to do with my career. So I started running wellness retreats over 8 years ago in southern Spain. And at the time, it was very popular to go on these boot camps and do juice detoxes. So we thought that rather than doing that, we wanted to offer people food and to not go hungry on retreats. And also living in southern Spain, we had access to amazing farmers markets, incredible produce, as you can imagine. So decided to do vegan and gluten-free cuisine. I decided that I wanted to cook on the first retreat that I ran. And having had this passion for food and cooking since I was a little girl, that sort of everything fell into place, and I thought, this is amazing. I can finally cook for a living, and I loved doing it, and sort of having the farmers market as my palette for ingredients and showcasing plant-based or vegan food, and how many options you have to the clients that we would have that would come and stay for a week. So it was the other way around, and that sort of trickled into my life. I was diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome and endometriosis. I think it's quite a long time ago now. I think I was 26 or 27, and was basically told that the likelihood of me having children was sadly probably not going to happen for me. And that was at the same time as I was cooking and running these retreats, and that type of food and lifestyle kind of trickled into my life, and I made lots of changes, not just through food, but lifestyle changes as well. And I got pregnant 7 months into my new business. I got pregnant with my little girl, who's now almost 9. Well, she'll be 9 in October. So and she's also been a huge part of that journey. And I guess, as you can imagine, 8 to 9 years ago, veganism and vegan food wasn't a big thing, and people sort of thought, what on earth are you doing? Why are you doing this? And 4 to 5 years into it, it boomed, as you know, and it's become huge now. So
that's wonderful. I want to ask you, just going back to the polycystic ovaries and the endometriosis, when you heard that, it must have been, quite a shock. Did you explore the vegan diet, if you like, the plant-based diet, hoping that might be able to help you? Or did you just fall into this diet because you were running the retreats and it helped you, but that wasn't your intention? If you see what I mean?
Yeah, it was definitely not my intention. I want to be really clear about this, because a lot of people in my position go, this is, this made me pregnant because I chose this type of diet. I'm not a nutritionist. There were lots of things that happened during that period, and my diet was one of those things. Yeah. So I didn't go and seek it out. It just sort of happened to fall into place, with lots of other lifestyle changes, and everything helped. I also took lots of supplements. I really dug into what could help, because at the time polycystic ovary syndrome and endometriosis wasn't really talked about. So it was a lot of trial and error. And to this day, in terms of my personal health, things happen and evolve, and there's lots of trial and error. So I think it's on a personal basis, at that time, everything slotted in and happened to help and make me feel better.
That's wonderful. And it's led for you to do even more is this what you focus on all of the time now, and especially during this past year, which has been very difficult? You couldn't have run a retreat, could you?
No. So that part of my business, in terms of retreat running, and I also run a retreat chef academy where I teach other people how to become retreat chefs, which is quite a specific role, because you have to wear many hats in that situation. So the retreat business and the academy has had to sort of take a halt over the last year. I'm hoping to be able to run my May Academy, which would be amazing. But all the other things have been sort of slowly ticking away in the background. So I wrote my 3rd book, which the title launched yesterday, and it's called Celebrate, Plant-Based Recipes for Every Occasion. So birthday parties, Easter, Christmas, New Year's, all of those big celebrations now hopefully have a great recipe attached to them. Whether you're vegan or not, hopefully it'll inspire more people to include veggies onto their plates and make them the hero ingredient. My second cookbook that I wrote last year, and also is one that does really well during Veganuary, is called the 7-Day Vegan Challenge. And that's got lots of sort of easy recipes that again focus on humble vegetables, without sort of having to reach for products that you might find in the supermarkets, but vegetables that you find in your veg boxes. So bringing back the humble Swede, potatoes, carrots, onions, cabbage, and using wholesome ingredients like great flours and grains and pulses, and sort of bringing those back.
I think that's so important, Bettina. You know, I've got to read your book because my greens are like blended up into my big smoothie.
Amazing.
So it's good. I've done that forever, but it's bringing back the flavors and using vegetables in different ways. And I mean, I want to ask you, Bettina, and I know we're sort of running out of time, but I'm really happy that there's so many vegan products in the supermarkets, in the shops now. You can order. I'm happy about that. When I went vegan nearly 25 years ago, there wasn't the range. I didn't care less, to be honest. For me, fast food is go and grab a banana. But, that's... But do you think that we need to kind of bring back a bit more of the cooking element? Are people, vegans, whoever, relying on the fast food, on the, you get it off the shelf now, you put it in the microwave. I don't even have a microwave. Do you think that's not the way forward? Should we be bringing back the humble vegetables and exploring the fresh tastes and flavors and creations and making things ourselves?
100%. I am a huge advocate for cooking from scratch. I think that is the single biggest thing that you can do for yourself, for your family. You know exactly what goes into your pot. And there's so many things that you can do with veggies. So 100%. And also from an environmental perspective, I think more important than the vegan label is where your food comes from, and that you support local and seasonal produce. And lots of people ask, how can I do that? Or where do I start? Or it's too expensive. My advice is get a veg box, a weekly veg box. It's going to cost 25 to 30 quid. That is what you spend on a night out, or if you go down the pub. But for that, you can get a whole box of veggies that are locally sourced and grown. And you can do a lot for that too, and feed your family in a really, really nice way. And also get yourself out of your comfort zone and cook with these amazing vegetables that you get. And we're heading into spring season now. I'm so excited. I love spring. I love summer vegetables. And there's so many things coming up that you can cook with.
Tell us a couple of examples, and then I think we're going to have to let you go, which I don't want to, Bettina.
I know, I'm so sorry. Lots of different things. I love spring greens. So anything, you've got purple sprouting broccoli coming up now. We'll have lots of green peas coming up at the moment. There's going to be courgettes and cucumbers, and we've just we're at the end of citrus season. So we've had blood oranges. At the moment, if you're out and about this weekend, go and forage some wild garlic, which is amazing as a pesto. So yeah, lots of chicory is another one. Fantastic produce. There's so many options, guys.
I just want to know, final quickie, I'm coming round to yours for dinner. What are you going to make me, Bettina? Tim and I are both coming round for dinner tomorrow night.
So I was on James Martin this morning, and I made a truffled cashew cheese, and I stuffed them in some courgette flowers that I then fried off crispy. So you bite into that, which is nice and crispy on the outside, and then you've got truffled cashew cheese coming through. I would definitely treat you to that because it's special. It's one of my favorite things. It sounds complicated, but it's not.
Tina, I'll see you tomorrow, my love. That sounds really good. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a whirlwind, but I hope we might be able to entice you back on.
Absolutely.
And,
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Bettina. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you for all your great work. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. Lots of love. Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you.
Oh, I feel like we were just getting into, you know, I wanted to find out more as we got in, but, you know, time is flying by and we've got our next incredible guest waiting in the wings, haven't we, Tim?
Very patiently, yes, indeed. You know, involving childcare and such like, so I know that indeed just having to juggle around, fit in with us. We're very, very grateful for Mark joining us. So, Karin, do tell us about our next guest.
Well, let's just bring him on board because I know he's probably got a very busy weekend with lots of Mark. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you
Oh, thank you for joining us and thank you for your patience because we are running a little bit behind Mark, but it's so
such good
wonderful.
chat, though. You've got such good chat. I'm interested. It's just I'm double duty with parenting at the moment.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, look, Mark, you know, I noted you down here on being, you know, the dancing on ice skating star. But obviously, you're much more than that, wasn't you? I want to find out about your vegan journey. I know it means a lot to you. I want to find out about you. I want to find out about, you know, your ice skating career because that is just incredible. Tell us how that came about, first of all.
I suppose I'm kind of a bit stereotypical ice skating journey. I watched Torvill and Dean. They won the Olympics in '84, but they returned to the Winter Olympics in '94. And I was 9 at the time, and it was on TV, and it took a fancy. Well, I was interested in it, and then I pestered my parents to let me to go skating, and that was that. That was the beginning of a long journey that's got me to this point, making it my career, really.
That's incredible. Were you like really athletic or gymnastic type person anyway?
I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't skate. But I think I'm just incredibly lucky to have turned my passion, something that I'm so passionate about, into my job. I just think that's, you know, incredibly fortunate, and it truly is my passion. And from 9 years old, I've never really looked back. I actually am a bit scared with this pandemic recently, and ice rinks were closed. It was thinking, oh my goodness, this is all I know. What would I do if I don't skate?
Maybe you'll turn into the next huge vegan chef.
Maybe so. Maybe I'll be Bettina's sous chef for a while.
Yeah. Look, you make it look effortless and graceful, and I just think, you know, I am rubbish. I've tried it a couple of times. I'm clinging on. I'm one of these people. I was even too scared to hold the penguin. You know, the penguin thing that you get in an ice rink. I'm so rubbish. I was always the last to be picked for PE, and it's left a scar on my life. Mark, when you first went onto the ice rink, did you just whiz off and you could do it all, or did you fall over?
I mean, oh gosh, I do. To be fair, to be truthfully honest, I still fall over. Falling over is an occupational hazard, so don't worry. It's not something that has escaped me now, even though I've been doing it for forever. But I think like so many things in life, I was just so. My mind was so clear on what I wanted to do, and so then any obstacles didn't really bother me because I was so fixated on the idea of becoming the next Torvill and Dean that I didn't really have time to consider the difficulties or the challenges. So I suppose it's mindset, really. It was the mindset that allowed me to do well at the job. Wasn't even conscious of how difficult it was, I suppose. But then that's youth as well, ignorance of youth.
Oh, to get to an incredible level like you is obviously, you know, you're the top of the game. There's not many people that would be at your high level, Mark. What has it taken to get to such a level? Is it, you know, 10 hours every single day? What does one have to do?
I mean, I suppose it's like so many professions. I think it was just total obsessive monomaniacal fixation on the job. And I think I'm lucky now that I can kind of reap the rewards for the practice that I put in. And I think I remember now looking back at times and being absolutely penniless, trying to pay the bills for my ice skating lessons and being just perpetually exhausted. But I was happy. I look back in that time and think, whilst I was definitely penniless and definitely exhausted and nothing like the comfort of life I have now with my family, but I was happy pursuing that dream. So I think it takes just monomaniacal obsession, and that's what's nice to hear about some of the other guests that you've had, is that they're so passionate about their craft that it's not really, what's that quote, you're not working, you don't, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, that kind of idea, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Mark, you're one of the stars on Dancing on Ice, of course, one of the experts. You've worked with some really brilliant people. How does that come about? Did they spot you and say, we want Mark on the show? Or do you sort of apply and say, hey, look, I'm fabulous, can I be on the show?
So what had happened, actually, I was competing at the World Figure Skating Championships. I was competing at the European and the World Skating Championships, and Dancing on Ice had been on air. So I didn't start it. It's been on air for 13 years. And I was competing at that World Championship level whilst it was on air. And I remember going to ask Christopher Dean if he would choreograph my next competitive program for the next season of hopeful World Championship level events. And I'd gone to meet him when he was in the country. He was actually at Sheffield Arena with a tour from the TV show. And so we went backstage and we were chatting about my world, the competitive world. And I think it gave me a little insight into what was happening in their TV world. And then just, I think after that, it wasn't long before then they said, would you be interested in jumping ship and coming over to the TV show? And then sort of never looked back. I mean, there's still a big part of me that wishes that I had pursued more competitive success. But nevertheless, I can be more grateful for the opportunities and experience that Dancing on Ice has offered.
Well, we've got some fantastic photos coming up, and I want to find out about your vegan journey, Mark, because I'm just so nosy. I love people, and I love finding out, especially, somebody that's embarking on a vegan journey, whether it's like wonderful Rose Elliott, who 50 years ago was championing the message, or Bettina that's had, incredible results with her own health. What was your turning point as such, Mark?
So I was brought up in a meat eating family. And then when I was competing, my competitive ice dance partner, she was from Colorado Springs and her family were vegetarian. And I spent a lot of time over in Colorado living with them as we trained out there. And actually, I cooked for the family as kind of thanks for the board. So I was cooking vegetarian food all the time. And then my then girlfriend, my now wife, she was vegetarian also, just sort of coincidence. So I kind of evolved into vegetarian, but more through circumstance rather than choice. And then for some reason, I don't know quite how it transpired, but I saw Cowspiracy, or I saw some stuff online, and you go down that rabbit hole of seeing different bits and bobs, and then I watched Cowspiracy, and then I saw What the Health, and then I just like slapped in the face with this unbelievable awareness of how imperatively important it was for me to be a vegan. And I just felt so ignorant before. I suppose like so many other people, you grew up, I mean, I adore my parents, and I don't blame them, but obviously I was just brought up in a meat eating house, and that's what you did. And I would have probably continued doing that unless I'd had this stark reality of seeing these TV programs and these documentaries, and then thinking now there's a big part of me that tries to tread the line of wanting to educate others without being an obnoxious, in your face vegan.
Love that. So when was that, Mark? Are we talking how many years ago?
I think about 6 years ago now.
Yeah. Vegan. Do you feel like, I mean, look, I know I want to acknowledge, because obviously we're chatting and there's so much to talk about. We're going to be out of time, I know, but I mean, these are outstanding images from what you can do as well. I want to know, because I get to hang out with a lot of high level world champion vegan sports stars, and they do tell me that being vegan has actually really enhanced their performance or their sports or even their recovery time. Anything like that for you, Mark?
I mean, I think for me, it's a shame in a way that when I was competing at that elite world level, that I was more vegetarian. It would be interesting. I don't sort of push my body to the same degree that I did when I was competing at that world level. But one of the things that I now feel when I'm performing, or just in general life, is I just feel more at peace with what I'm eating, and just happier in the knowledge that it's good fuel. And interestingly, in my industry, in the skating world, we're often all very fixated on body image, and so often for a lot of skaters and dancers, we're always very body conscious and not necessarily in a good way. And so I'd always be worrying about the food that I was taking in. But now that I'm committed to being a vegan, I feel much happier and comfortable with the idea that if it's vegan, it's good. You know, I much less stress about whatever I put in my body, just the knowledge that I'm not endorsing the dairy industry or the meat industry, which I know can be so detrimental to the planet and myself.
When you're on set, you know, and filming, I mean, are they catering for you well?
Oh my goodness. They use a company in dancing. I used to use a company called Eat to the Beat, and it's been interesting because I've worked on the show now for 8 series, and the vegan, more and more of the production, and it's a massive production of hundreds of people, are choosing the vegan option, but the food is amazing. It's so good. And the problem is, again, like I was saying, I don't worry about why I eat so much. The desserts now, like in my head, I'm thinking anything that's vegan is good, but the desserts, which are probably laden with sugar, which might be vegan but not good, I'm like, oh well, it's okay because it's vegan, but they're amazing.
That's fantastic. Do you think it's been a relatively short journey compared to obviously Rose Elliott or whatever? Do you think you've noticed a change in this time for the vegan message?
Oh, monumentously. And I remember just even now interacting, because especially when I pertain it to Dancing on Ice, because every year that I do that show, we meet a new mix of celebrities and a new mix of production cast. So I'm meeting new people every year. So like go in, meet all these new people. And previously, about 6 years ago, when I'd made this commitment to tell everybody that I was vegan, it was like a big deal. And it was like, oh, Mark's a vegan. Oh, you know, we need to worry about what to feed Mark. And now it's like, I feel like so many more people are vegan or accepting of it, or at least educated a little bit more in the importance of it, which is wonderful. And I think obviously the more that we can do that, the better.
Mark, tell me, just, what's a typical day now for you with your food wise then?
Oh my goodness, because it does change when I'm on the TV show. So the final was last week. So just when I'm working on the TV show, I can eat an inordinate amount of food just because I'm churning up so much energy skating and lifting. Whereas now what I've actually got at the moment, which I love, is a company called Human Food, which creates these human food bars. Mixed it up with some oat milk, a banana, whiz there maybe a bit of maple syrup if I'm being a bit naughty. Love that as a smoothie. Lunch, I love toast and avocado, coconut oil on it, pine nuts, salt, pepper, happy days. And actually, it's my birthday tomorrow, and my wife is she's got this vegan chef, Gautier from London. Apparently, so there's this food pack that's come. So it's Michelin-starred vegan chef. That's something we have to create tomorrow. So that will be my food for this weekend, which I'm very excited about.
You know what, Mark? I can't remember their name because there's only one doing that, and I had their food a couple of months ago. Go on, go and have a look. I love this. I love the realness of doing a live broadcast. Yeah, tell me.
So Gautier, I mean, she ordered. I didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, I think it's a different one actually. Saying that.
Alexis Gautier and all the team at Gautier Soho, but apparently that was a Michelin star chef who got his first Michelin star, and it talks about it here, and he would offer foie gras and all sorts of hideous things, and now he's become vegan himself, and he's got a Michelin star as a vegan chef. And I just think that to me is just so exciting when you hear somebody who would eat something like foie gras and now has been educated and enlightened, and now being able to create wonderful food that others will enjoy from a vegan perspective.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because I mean, in the real normal world, you probably go out for dinner and have a lovely birthday, but at least you've got some really fantastic special food, so you can have a lovely celebration, even if it is a kind of a lockdown birthday.
Yeah, too true. But I think also when I finished Dancing on Ice, having to stay in shape for the TV show for so long, post TV show, it's like no holds barred. Give me all the food.
Vegan chocolate, vegan. You'll have to post on your Instagram, perhaps. Take a photo of the food, because I'm interested to try it as well.
But that's one of the things. I've always been told that I need to be more proactive on social media, and I know obviously that so much of the world is now online and on social media. And for a long time, I really struggled with it. I didn't really like the narcissism of it all. I felt like selfies is all that we do on social media. But this year I've come to terms with I am passionate as a vegan. I am passionate about trying to educate others. So I'm just going to try and use my social media platform about something that I'm passionate about. So I don't feel like it's just a big Mark and Retty fest taking selfies. It's actually Mark and Retty promoting something that I think is really important and that I'm passionate about. So I am going to be posting more and more vegan stuff online, not just dancing.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful, because I think people that like you've got Joaquin Phoenix from America and Moby, and I've chatted to Joaquin's agent and I'm chatting to Moby's agent again, which is lovely. I feel very blessed. But I just think it's wonderful when people have got a platform, because that's how we're going to create change. Your fans that will like you and they follow you on the show, they follow your career. It's another way of actually saying, hey guys, this is what I'm doing, and maybe it's of interest to you.
Yeah, and I think certainly initially when I first turned vegan, there was a bit of a stigma and there was a bit of a fear about putting yourself on a platform to say, I think you'll probably have experienced it much more than I have for all the time that you've been a vegan, but there was a stigma with rabbit food and that kind of thing. But now, I mean, people like Lewis Hamilton, Serena Williams, Venus Williams, like all these, epic players in society that are now vegan helps to boost the cause so much.
Mark, look, we could chat all day, but we've got the whole weekend jam-packed with VegfestUK events online. People watching live on YouTube. We'll send you the link as well, Mark, afterwards. Just really, in a nutshell, as I asked Bettina, Tim and I are going to come round to your house next week. What are you going to make for me and Tim for dinner?
Oh, that's just too hard. There's just too much wonderful vegan good. Do you know, I had actually recently, my son had a vegan cookbook for his birthday. He just turned 8. And we made this wonderful lasagna, but it had like ground almonds in it and all sorts of fabulous vegetables. And I'll make you that. My son, my 8-year-old, will make you a vegan lasagna.
Oh, Mark, thank you. We wish you every success. I really hope that you can come back on and we can carry on our conversation.
Cool. Take care.
All the best and happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Tim, you're looking awfully laid back and cool. Are you okay?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Yeah.
I love our guests. We get to hang out with the most fantastic people, and I love their energy and their passion to a positive vegan message. Thank you, Tim, for giving me the opportunity to get to hang out with these guys. And I hope our lovely viewer out there has enjoyed. And all you need to do is hit love and give us a share and a tweet and all of that, because it really, really is appreciated.
Great stuff, Karin. Thank you. I think we'll wrap up there. We've had a couple of hours there, so that's quite a lengthy session. It was very interesting to listen to our guests there. We've been very lucky over the course of the series to have so many interesting people. Karin, thank you for all the work you put in over this last year to the VegFest Chat. We're never quite sure what will happen next. Never quite sure what will be around the corner, but I know what we have got at the moment is a very big, rapidly changing world, and part of that world is people all over the world adopting a plant-based diet and promoting vegan way of life. And I think we enjoy doing that a lot. So thanks for listening, everyone. And do join in the rest of the show. It's on all day. You'll find it all on our website, VegfestUK. Brilliant. Okay.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Remember to tune in and share VegfestUK. Spread the message. Lots of love. Bye, Tim.